Greetings fellow anime gamers, and once again I'm coming at you with an exciting Vita video. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm still kind of getting over my cold, so I might have to cut off parts of this video in case I'm gagging, wheezing, or just generally dying. But I hit a great milestone today. Now you may have noticed this from my past videos here on YouTube that I kind of I don't know, maybe like the Vita a little bit, just a tad. And today I hit over 300 physical Vita games. Now I'm gonna say I'm roughly about at 306 at this time, with only about 5 or so duplicates. I'll explain why they're duplicates as the video progresses. I'm not going to show off every game I have here in my collection just because I don't want this video to be an hour long or so. But I do want to maybe pull out some of the games either that I really enjoyed playing or just that I think are kind of worth mentioning. So kind of bear with me as I go through this. Hopefully the lighting is pretty good for you guys too. So we're going to start here. I have them all alphabetized, as you can see. PlayStation Vita is my favorite system of all time. Used to be the Dreamcast, but then as of late the Vita took over. So let's see what we have here that is worth mentioning. I guess we'll start off probably with this one here. Most expensive North American release Vita game, at least that I'm aware of so far. This is Arno Search Plus, Ode to an Unborn Star. It was released by, gosh, what was this? I want to say NIS America, I can't remember. But anyway, it was released exclusively on a website, and I think only about 10,000 copies or so, I've heard rumors, were supposed to be made. It came exclusively through their website as a limited edition game. And after that it sold out very fast. So this game goes for around the time I'm making this video, it goes for, I'm going to say, roughly about $400 to over $400, depending on if it comes with the box or not. So it's an alright game. I played it. It's nothing, I wouldn't say special, but what's kind of cool about it is that it's basically the definitive version of the PS3 game, so you get all the DLC and whatnot included right on the disc. So that's really cool. Okay, let's see, we're gonna go down the line here. Here's another one. I guess we're just starting off with expensive games here. Breach and Clear. Possibly maybe the second most expensive Vita game released in North America. This was a limited run exclusive, their first release, limited to only 1,500 copies worldwide. So because of that, this game goes now for anywhere from $250 to $300 now. As you can see, mine is still sealed. Now I will say this, I am by no means a sealed game collector. I don't believe in doing that. However, I have this game on download, so I figured, since the price has gone up so much and I haven't had a chance to open this, might as well leave it sealed. But I have no plans at all on selling my collection, so I just like to open my games as soon as I get them. A number of these games, in fact, you will see sealed only because I haven't gotten around to playing them. There for a while, as soon as I would pick up the game, I would open them right away from the shrink wrap and play them for like 5 minutes and then put them away. But I stopped doing that because I thought, what for open them if I'm not even gonna have the intention of finishing them? So now I kind of made a promise with myself of the opposite regards, in that I told myself I'm only gonna open the game when I have time to actually really dedicate to it and hopefully beat it. So let's see here. Okay, so here's another one. If you're into visual novel games, this is probably one of my favorite ones. This is an Atomi game. It's called Code Realize. Fantastic story. Normally in these Atomi games, it's just all about romancing. You play as a female trying to romance the other guys. This one, that kind of takes a backseat to the story. The romance doesn't even really happen until the very end of the game. So if you're into like visual novels with great storylines, and I highly recommend this. You can find this pretty cheap too. Now I've seen it go for like anywhere from 20 bucks and under these days, depending on whether it's new or used. Oh, and please excuse the garland up here. It's Christmas time around the time I'm making this video, so that's why I have that there. Let's see, here's another one from Limited Run. This one I actually own 2 copies of. This is Darius Burst, a fantastic shoot 'em up game kind of side-scrolling shoot 'em up game. I have 2 copies of these. This is the limited run game. Again, I have it sealed, and the reason I have it sealed is because I own the Japanese import game, and I've been playing that a lot. So I figured to myself, well, I guess I'll leave the limited run version sealed just because I've been playing this game. I am going for a complete North American collection, so that's the reason why some of these games I had to buy twice. Most of the time, if you happen to see 2 games in my collection that I have twice, it's probably because I bought the import version earlier, and then, you know, kind of figuring that they wouldn't release the game outside of Japan, and then lo and behold, they ended up releasing it in North America. So since I'm going for the complete North American set, then I have to get it. Okay, let's see now. Here we go. Here's another kind of notable game. This is another import. This is basically an Asian English version of Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Venus. This game never came to North America because supposedly for controversial reasons. I think it was just because the series wasn't doing that great here outside of Japan. But they did release an Asian English version, which you can find. It's been holding its value, that's for sure. But, you know, it's a beach volleyball game with all the Dead or Alive girls. And at the time of making this video, I'm going to say you can get it for maybe 50 on up, depending on its condition. But it's really, really worth it. I wouldn't say it's like that great. It's basically like all the other beach volleyball games. In fact, they even took out some features that were in the last Dead or Alive Extreme 2 game. So that's another thing worth noting. Okay, here's another one. This game here, Deception, the Nightmare Princess. This is another import game that I bought, Asian English version of the other Deception 4 game. But this one has DLC. Now, I think the first game, see, I'm going to try and pull this out for you guys here. Bear with me. This was the actual official North American release game. Well, this one is basically this game, but it has all the DLC included right on to the cart. So I kind of wanted to get that just because I prefer physical games way over downloadable games, I guess, as you probably can no doubt tell from this video. So that's why I had to get that. Also was given to me by a good friend, so I couldn't say no to him. All right, so let's see, what else do we got here that's worth mentioning? I would say here, Dragon Quest Builders, great game. Kind of plays like Minecraft, but in the Dragon Quest universe. I still haven't finished this game. Again, this is an import copy that I bought because the physical version I think did come to North America, but it was only download only, so I had to get the Asian English version. Really fun game. I'm still in the process of beating it, but very addictive, just like Minecraft is. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay. If you want to talk expensive and sort of controversial games for the Vita, Epic Mickey 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Epic Mickey 2? I mean, this was released on multiple platforms, and it's dirt cheap. I've seen it on the Wii and Wii U, or was it just the Wii U? I can't remember. For like 10 bucks. This copy, however, with the ESRB logo, goes for probably I'm gonna say $150 to $250, depending on its condition. It's not technically a North American release because this was actually released, if I'm correct, in Mexico and South America. But it does have the ESRB logo, so it still sort of counts as an NTSC released game, I guess you could say, released in this region. So because of that, there's a lot of controversy between complete collectors on whether this actually counts as a North American release. But it's a really solid game. The frame rate is kind of bad on this. I actually did beat it. So it's not the best version of Epic Mickey 2. If you're just looking for a version of Epic Mickey 2, then you definitely don't want to get this because this one's gonna hurt your wallet way more than the other ones would. This is my Marie figure from Persona. I was a big Mary fan. Let's see. Okay. Oh, here's another game. Let's see if I can squeeze this out of here for you guys. Furaki. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Furaki 3. Surprisingly, I don't hear many people talk about this game often. This, of course, as you can probably tell, is a Japanese import. But you visit different islands around the island of Japan. And I really love that concept. Now, I don't know Japanese, so I have no idea what's going on here, but what's really cool about it is that just all the different environments you can visit and soak in, and it's done visual novel style, which is, I guess, is to kind of be expected, but I really enjoyed this game. Sometimes if I'm just tired of killing monsters and zombies and whatnot on my Vita games, I tend to pull this one out a lot because it's a very relaxing game. The music's very soothing. So if you're like a sightseeing kind of guy like I am, then this is definitely a recommended game. Kind of pricey too, considering what this game kind of offers. I've seen it go for like I don't know, I'm gonna say like maybe 50 on up, depending on its condition again. But I really enjoyed that game. Let's see, here's another one I want to show you guys. Another import here. Genkai Toki 7 Pirates. Probably one of my favorite RPGs on the PlayStation Vita. It's not the easiest game to get through if you're not familiar with the language. I actually was able to beat this game without a walkthrough, though I did have to kind of stumble around a few times. It's pretty straightforward. It's not the most biggest game, but the graphics are really beautiful in this. So if you're a fan of RPGs and kind of sort of like a One Piece kind of vibe on the high seas, then I highly recommend this game. Lots of fun, and another game that I don't hear many people talking about, so pick it up if you ever happen to see it for a good price. Trying to get that in there. I got it. Okay, now we're heading down to row 2. Excuse my Madoka Magica figure. I'm a big Madoka fan, as you probably guessed. Oh, here's a game I actually just got recently. Now, this game is called Gun Pixies, another favorite. I would probably say this is maybe on my top 10 most enjoyed Vita games. You play the role of 2 pixies as they kind of infiltrate this girl's dorm to kind of do research on humanity, but the size and scale of this game is really good. Since you play as a pixie in this room, like, you really get a good size of sense of scale, I guess is the way I want to say it. Think Shadow of the Colossus meets you know, Contra meets anime, I guess is kind of the best way that you can kind of point this. You know, not quite as solid as those games, but for what it is, it's a really fun game and pretty addictive. I think my only problem that I had with this game is that there was only 3 rooms that you could visit in the game, and so it kind of got a tad repetitive in that regards, but still, I highly recommend you guys importing this game because it's been out a while in Japan and it doesn't look like there's any chance of it getting released outside of there. Alright, let's see. Here's one. This was my first Vita game that I ever purchased, Hot Shots Golf. Yes, I actually do like golf games. Really fun, solid title. The only physical golf game you can get on the Vita, too. It might even be the only golf game that you can get on the Vita, unless you know, include some of the PSP downloads and whatnot. But really fun game, and dirt cheap, too. I've seen that like for like $5 these days. Alright, there was a game that I saw here that I want to show you, another import. I guess you guys can tell I'm a huge import fan. I would say during the time I'm making this video, I have roughly 200 plus North American releases, and the rest, so maybe close to 100-ish, are all imports. Vita has a fantastic import scene if you're willing to go that route, and some of these don't require very little knowledge of the language, sort of like this game. This is, I guess, AIVT Colorful. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's a music rhythm game. I'm a huge music rhythm game fan. And again, doesn't require much knowledge of the language. It's made, I think, from the same people that did the Hatsune Miku games, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe not, it's Marvelous. I don't know. But it plays exactly very similar to the game, but a lot easier, because those Hatsune Miku games can be pretty tough. And I think, see if I can do this with one hand. Yes. I'm not going to pull it out, but it's one of the few Vita games that actually comes with a full-fledged manual right out of the game, out of the box. So if you are looking on importing this game, I would highly recommend that you get it with the manual, because, you know, that's such a taboo thing these days. Let's see. One of my favorite parts about the Vita is that you probably have noticed at this point is that there's very little shovelware in regards to its physical collection. I think the only game that really would qualify as, let's see, a shovelware. Where the heck? Oh yeah, here it is. Possibly 2 games come to mind, and that's Angry Birds Star Wars. You know, it's Angry Birds, so what are you expecting? And then there's a SpongeBob game that I have somewhere here. I can't. Maybe I'll find it when I get to it. But yeah, surprisingly, all of these games, and not only that, what I love about the Vita also is that there's very, very few franchise games. Now, I know that might be a little controversial to say because a lot of gamers love their franchises, but I love the fact that so many of these games are kind of one-shots. There's not a whole lot of them, with the exception maybe that I'm coming to mind is like the Lego games and possibly the MLB games. There's a decent amount of those, but for the most part, you probably have noticed that a lot of these games are kind of unique and games them to themselves, which is something I really, really enjoy. I like my games to be all different and unique. Alright, let's see here. Okay, here's another one. This one I think was a European exclusive. Yes, it was. There's a Peggy logo. Looney Tunes Galactic Sports. It's an okay game. I actually really enjoyed it because I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan, but there's not a whole lot of mini games on here, and I really, really wish they would have added more. The controls are really solid. The games they do have on there are good, but they're very, very sparse. So I'm gonna say maybe off the top of my head, maybe only like 9 mini games exist or something like that. So it's like I said, it's a fun game, but I just wanted more of it. Okay, let's see here. Going down the line, guys. Let's see, I'm trying to pick out something that here's one that I guess a lot of collectors kind of don't know is a bit rare for some reason, and that's Natural Doctrine. It plays sort of like an RPG MMO kind of game. I found this at GameStop for, gosh, what was it, $17? And for some reason it's just really, really hard to find. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is with this game, but I did catch it. Most of my Vita collection I did purchase from brick and mortar stores just because I enjoy, hunting down the Vita games. I feel like online is sort of cheating in a way, even though I do have a number of these are online. But I always find a bit more satisfaction in getting my games from a brick and mortar place and trying to hunting them down, because the hunt is like half the fun, Let's see here. What do we have here that I could mention? Oh, you know what? There is one game that I forgot to mention that was up here. Excuse me, guys, while I'm going. Oh, in fact, I think it's over here. Yes. Goodbye, or Sayonara, Umihara Kasawa. I did a video on this not too long ago because Strictly Limited is going to be releasing an English version of this game. This is a really fun PS Vita title. What I love about it is it includes, this is a long-running series in Japan, and basically you take on the role of multiple characters in this sort of side-scrolling platform game, and they have to jump, of course, from platform to platform using this sort of like fishing line thing, and the physics are realistic, so it can be a pretty challenging game. Now, what's interesting is that this game did actually come to North America, but it was download only, so I wanted the physical copy, so you can import that. It's pretty reasonable, won't cost that much, but Strictly Limited is now doing a English version of this, or they will be at least. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I did think that was something worth noting. Sorry, trying to put those in there and bring in all my rest of my stack at the same time. Alright, let's see, coming down here, see what we have. Oh, Plague Road. This was a game released by Limited Run. I did not like this whatsoever. I bought it just... excuse me while I'm trying to pull out my game here. I did not like this game. It sort of plays like a side-scrolling RPG-ish kind of title, and yeah, I did not like this. I played the downloadable version, and again, I just bought this because I'm going for a complete North American version, but I would probably say try before you buy with this game for sure. Alrighty, guess we'll move on. What do you say, guys, to the let's see, what is this, the 5th row? See what we got here. Oh, this is a game, and I like to, and you probably have noticed, I like to bring out games that a lot of people haven't mentioned. As you know, I'm a big Madoka Magica fan, and there is a Madoka Magica game on the PlayStation Vita. Really fun one too. It's an action game, so it's not very hard to get through. It requires very minimal use of the Japanese language, other than the story, of course, but it's actually based off the Madoka Magica movie. So if you've seen the movie, then you kind of get an idea what this is about, and it even includes multiple routes that weren't in the movie. which is really, really cool. Love that game. Putty Squad, here's another kind of notable title for me. It's based off of an old game on the Super Nintendo, and it got a remake on the Vita. And this game is really hard to find. I've never, in fact, this is one of the games that I actually did have to resort to buying online just because I could not find it anywhere in our area. And so if anyone has seen it, let me know down in the comments below, because I surely have never seen that game. Ray Gigant, this is another one, limited run. This is another example of something that I didn't think was going to be getting an English physical version. I had bought the import copy a long time ago, and I bought it for a song. It was really, really cheap, but then of course limited run does an English version, so I'm stuck with 2 copies. Like I said, this is about one of the 5 that I had to do that with. One thing I think I do actually want to mention, sorry guys, going back up here, I'm kind of all over the place with this video, is the MLB games. You might have noticed now that I have 2 MLB games. There is actually a reason for that. Get this here. Now, you look at this. This is the North American version, and this is the Asian English version. Now you're probably asking yourself, why in the world did you buy 2 of the same game, especially a baseball game? Come on. Well, the reason I did that is because for some odd reason they had the bright idea of releasing MLB The Show 15 with no Vita game. Yep, it's a download only game. It comes in a physical cart, but there is no game inside the PlayStation Vita. It is strictly a downloadable only game, and it does warn you about this, as you can see here, downloadable game voucher only. But so what I did is PlayAsia was having a really, really nice special. Ooh, gosh, this was months and months ago, and they had this game for like 15 bucks. So I thought, you know what, I do want to get the physical version of this game, and unfortunately I had to buy the empty case of the North American copy just because, again, I'm going for the full complete set, so I had to get it. But I was able to get it pretty cheap. I was able to find someone selling them really, really dirt inexpensive. That's my new word. Okay, so we're heading back down here, guys. Sorry for that little detour. Let's see what we have here. Here's another fun game. I have no idea how to play it. This is Saki blah 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 something or other. It plays like those sort of mahjong games or whatnot. I think it's called mahjong. It's a fun game, but I have no clue what I'm doing, so when I play it, I'm just pressing a bunch of buttons and just hoping something happens. I still have not won a match yet to this day. That's how bad it is. Oh, here's some games that I really love. As I've told you guys, I love music rhythm games. This one actually came as 3 parts in a set. And the only difference with them, I think they're the same storyline. I can't tell again because it's, you know, it's in Japanese, but they are the same game but with different songs, and they came in 3 parts. It's called, was it Love Live High School? Love Idol Paradise. There you go. Can't read. And so really, really fun games. Probably some of my favorite music rhythm games on the Vita. And again, if you're looking to get them, I mean, if you don't care about having more song selections, you could just pick up one. They're not that expensive. Okay, let's see. We got here, okay, Semisphere. Oh, here we, no, actually, you know, before that, Shinobido. This is a really fantastic game. If you've ever played the Tenchu games on the old PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, you know, 6th gen era, you'll love Shinobido 2, and I think this was a Vita exclusive actually. Plays a lot like it, where you play this ninja that has to stealthily make it to assassinate a certain enemy, and much like with Tenchu, you face the same enemy over and over. They don't do that great enemy variety. Silent Hill, Book of Memories. Don't look at that. Let's see. Saturday Morning RPG, another game by Limited Run. This was their second release. Doesn't go quite for as much money as Breach and Clear does, so this is a game that you guys might want to be getting before it gets up there in price, because I'm assuming it's going to get more. Shovelware. Yep, probably the only other game that I can say that's on the Vita that might be included is Shovelware. And I actually did beat this game. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so let's see. Here's another. Oh, Sorcery Saga. This is another game that it's made by Compile Hearts, who supports the Vita quite a bit, and it's sort of this kind of tactics, real person kind of RPG. What's interesting about this, I have the collector's edition, and it actually came with a bib and a spoon. Yes, and this is an official North American release too. Came with a bib and a spoon in its collector's box. One of the things I love about the Vita is just all the weird kind of quirky games that are on here. It's what made me love the system in the first place. Let's see, Semispheres, this was a Play Asia exclusive for the physical copy on Vita. It came out in an orange collector's box or a blue collector's box. I don't have the box on me even now, but this is a pretty fun game, pretty good puzzle game. If you like kind of like indie puzzle games, you guide two jellyfish-like creatures in this sort of split-screen get one-player mode. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really, really enjoy it. If you like puzzle games, then I highly recommend that one. Here's my Space Invaders arcade little mini cabinet here. Guess I'll move that out of the way for the moment. Let's see, what do we got here? Anything, oh, although I haven't had time to open this up and play it yet. Summon Night 6. This game was delayed probably more times than I've seen any other Vita get delayed. It was literally delayed, I counted it 5 times in 1 month. Yes, they kept saying like, what's coming out next week? Oh, it's coming out in 5 days. Oh, it's coming out in 2 weeks. I counted it 5 times. This game was delayed, I don't know how many times overall, but it was supposed to come out, I think it was supposed to be out sometime early this year, and it barely came out now in the end of October. But at least it's out. And although, like I said, I haven't had a chance to play it, I can feel that there's actually a manual in here or something, because it's very, very heavy. And I'm not one that's really big on collector's boxes. I do have my fair share, which I might show you guys towards the end of this video. But I'm not big just because of the space, and I very rarely use any of the contents that's actually in there. Okay, I have a fun story with this one. Supremacy MMA. Here's another rare game, and again, I've played it, and it's not too great, but it was made in very, very small quantities. What I love, what's kind of interesting is that I always try to go, as you probably noticed about my game collection here, I always try to go for physical games in their original cases. So, if you're not aware, this game is very, very hard to find, extremely hard to find in the wild. And one day I was happening to look up on different GameStop websites in our area, and I found one that actually had a copy, and I never had seen that. So of course quickly I called them up and I said, yeah, do you still have the Supremacy MMA game? The guy answered and said, yeah, we do. And he goes, but you want me to hold it for you? And I said, well, does it come with the original case? And then he said, hold on 1 second, let me look. And so he looked it up on his computer, and he goes, no, unfortunately, it just comes with the cart only. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, the game isn't like the most expensive Vita game. It is probably one of the most rare ones, but it would typically go from the time I was looking for it, maybe around $80 to $100. But I thought to myself, do I want it with just the cart by itself? So I kind of was reluctant to buy it. And I didn't. So then the next day, after thinking about it so much, I thought, you know what, I should just pick it up, and then if I ever come across the case or whatnot, I can just do it that way and just, kind of buy them a la carte. So I called him up and I said, yeah, you know what, do you still have that MMA game? He's like, yeah, we do. And I said, okay, go ahead and hold it for me, and I'll be down there shortly to pick it up. So he held it for me, and by the time I got there, it was probably like already sometime in the evening. He was gone. And so I came up to the clerk and I asked him, I said, do you have Supremacy MMA? They were supposed to be holding it for me. And he looked in the back, he goes, yeah, let me look. And he goes, yeah, we are holding it. And he gave it to me, and then lo and behold, he gave it to me with the case. And I was like, what? And then I asked him, I said, I thought this didn't come with the case. And he goes, no. He goes, I mean, we have the case here. And so, here's the funny thing, because the guy that actually originally held it for me was off that time, or maybe he already had left or whatnot, I was on lunch break, I never got to find out what had happened. I don't know if they had just misplaced the case or what was the deal, but it was definitely a big score. This is probably like one of my proudest scores, that I was actually able to get this from a brick and mortar store, even if it was GameStop. All right, let's see, guys, we're kind of winding down here a little bit. Gonna see what other ones kind of stick out. The Walking Dead games. The Walking Dead is on the PlayStation Vita. It's okay. It's an okay port. If you want it physical, though, it's a great way to go, of course. But unfortunately, the frame rate's not that great on these games. So keep that in mind if you're kind of interested in picking one of these out. Okay, here's another one, Trails of Cold Steel. I got 1 and 2. I'll just pull out 1. Fantastic, fantastic games from Falcom. Same ones who did the Yi series. Probably will take you anywhere from like 80 hours or so to beat it, maybe less depending on, you know, how fast you go. But if you're big into RPGs, well, you probably already own a Vita anyway. I highly recommend this game. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'd marry it if I could, maybe. Okay, Tokyo Xanadu, another game I don't hear many people talking about, but I absolutely adored this game. It plays sort of like it tastes as a real-time action game, sort of in the vein of Kingdom Hearts, I guess, kind of. Not quite as fast-paced as that, but the story is pretty good, considering. I mean, usually with these kind of anime RPGs, the stories are kind of, you know, the chosen one, blah, blah, blah. But this one takes sort of a different curve to that, and the gameplay was just super, super fun, and I love the soundtrack to this game. And it's a game that I have not seen many people talk about. They are doing a PlayStation 4 remake of this game that's going to be coming out. It's called Tokyo Xanadu, I think EX, and it's going to have like extra content, characters, blah, 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 all that stuff. So definitely a game to keep out, look out for, because it's fantastic. Okay, let's see. We have here, okay, here's my, I forget her name from Dragon Quest, sorry, she has like this weird French name, but I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. Alright, so now we're going to go down here down the line, guys. This is the end of my PlayStation Vita collection, as you can see. But some good heavy hitters here. World of Final Fantasy, I think a lot of people have talked about this already, so I won't go into much detail, but fantastic game. Being able to play it on the go is great. I'm about halfway through this game, I'd say, or so, but the Vita definitely doesn't have its lack of RPGs, that's for sure. If I don't bring down the whole pile while I'm doing this. Yamawari, the Yamawari series, let's see, I'll bring out the second one. I do this very gently. The Anomaly series is like a survival horror game where you play as these two little characters who have to go through this sort of haunted town. It's done more of like an indie style. It is released by NIS America. It's kind of short. If you've seen my review of it, you can find it on my channel. It's a great game though. You know, there's not a lot of survival horror games on the Vita, so I think it's really one that you'll probably enjoy, and it won't cost you that much either. Okay, here's another one. And I guess this will probably be the last one I talk about. Possibly my game of the year for 2017. Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. This is a fantastic game. I can't say enough good things about this. If you're an RPG fan, you have to pick this game up. It plays sort of like, I guess, a Kingdom Hearts. I always kind of describe it as it plays like a cross between Kingdom Hearts meets the Tales of series. The action is very fast-paced, the bosses are huge, the music really gets you pumped up, and the storyline is really, really good. It sort of has this Skies of Arcadia vibe from the Dreamcast, where you are in this sort of like deserted island and you gotta build your own town, basically. So I love this game. If you have a Vita and you love RPGs, then you owe it to yourself to pick this title up. Alrighty, Zero Time Dilemma. I guess I'll just talk about this game just for a sec. It's a great game. I think, is this the one that's a sequel to 9999? Well, how does it go? 9 doors, 9 windows, something. I can't remember it. But a great visual novel game with a nice puzzle-based style system. So another really great, fantastic game if you're into that sort of things on the Vita. And just real quick, I'm just going to show you these here. I'm not going to show them. I'll probably save this for another video. But there's actually Vita magazines that exist. Yes, these were exclusive, I believe, to Europe, and I might go into more detail into them in a later video. But just wanted to show those guys to you guys, because you probably had noticed them from the video anyway. That, hey, what's that over there? What are those magazines? And then I'll get a bunch of questions on that. So that's what those are, and like I said, I'll probably save this for another video, and I'll probably go into more in depth onto those. Okay, guys, real quickly, as I'm getting up here, I just wanted to show you, I'm not going to bring them down, but here is my collector's boxes that I have for the PlayStation Vita, and there's even more in the back. I have one for like Ben Gun Pixies and my PlayStation TV, which I love this thing. If you guys have never picked up a PlayStation TV, you guys owe it to yourselves to do that, because you're able, basically it's a console version of the PlayStation Vita. You can play all your Vita games on it, on a big full screen. What's better than that, right? Sorry, I'm over here wheezing, gasping for air again because of my cold. So yeah, those are my collector's boxes, and again, like I said, I'm not going to pull them down, but as you can probably tell from that crack there, there's more in the back. But I'm not big onto collector's boxes just because, you know, I very rarely use the contents in them, and you know, I mean, I don't have the space, so that money can be used to spend for more Vita games. So alright guys, just thought I'd want to show you my PlayStation Vita collection here. Now at this point of the video, you probably have noticed, hey, how come he didn't show any of like the big titles? Like, how come he didn't show Persona 4 or Gravity Rush or Uncharted? And the reason I intentionally left those out, just because, well, I mean, everybody and their mothers on YouTube has already talked about those games, and they're great games, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing them by any means, but I kind of wanted to show you some of the games that I think kind of get overlooked on the Vita, and maybe a lot of people aren't talking about. Maybe you might have seen one here that you might be interested in picking up sometime down the road. So alright guys, I guess that'll do it for now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, anime gamers, we must forge our own path. Anything is possible. Thanks for watching.